Sam, the Frugal Gardener, and I get a lot of questions about my growing setup and my garden setup outside. But today I'm going to cover my growing setup over here in my storage room. So let's go ahead and go over what I feel I need to sow and grow my plants each season. So let's start. Okay, so first off, you got to excuse the lighting. I got a chandelier up here, another one over there, and then I got backlighting in back of me, which is hard for the camera, so I'll enhance it when I'm editing it. But this is what my growing room looks like. Okay, first off, I got plenty of water. I put it in the refrigerator so I got something to drink, because I do a lot of sweating hours in here. I have a lot of potting trays, and I have a lot of pots all cleaned out and sterilized, because right over here I have a table and I have seed starting soil that I mix and I make my own. Down below I'll leave a link to a PDF file you can download, and it has everything that I do and put in there. So of course, right over here, maybe you can see me in the mirror, I got my coffee. It's still dark outside right now. It's probably about 4 or 5 in the morning. I don't know, I've been in here for a while now. So anyways, I try to keep a supply of what I need, and I keep a table. This table is perfect because it's a certain height and it doesn't hurt your back. And on the table I got a bin over here. The bin is great because if something didn't seed, you could come over here, you could dump it out. I like to put it in another pot, so I'll just dump it in there, and then I'll take an empty pot and I'll put some in, and I'll put the plant in there if I'm up potting it, or I put the seed in there. And right over here I left this dirty so you can see it. When this gets dirty enough, I clean it out, then I start over. But at least everything is semi in the bin. Every now and then I have a mishap, but for the majority of the time it's in the bin. And then up over here, I want to make sure I got paper towels. I got some worm castings. I got my Maxi Grow over here. I got my Agro Thrive, and I got some containers that I go ahead and fill up and utilize to water. Got a digital temperature gauge, and you definitely want plenty of labels, and you want a graphite pencil. Now this is important. A graphite pencil is to write on the labels. It won't fade and it won't wipe off, and you'll have the name of the plant or the variety of the plant in your garden all season long. At the end of the season, you could take your label over here and you could use alcohol, and then you could take it off. If you use a Sharpie, you won't, in 2 months you won't know what plant it is. Then on the top I got some growing supplies for my hydroponics, and everything's accessible to my working area where I need it. Now over here I got some extra bins. Up on the top I got extra bins. Now let's get down to the growing setup in a little bit. Okay, so right over here I got some Maxi Grow fertilizer. I got all my plants that I sowed up on the shelves. I have my plants that are going to be direct sowed into the garden, and some other supplies there. Okay, so right over here I have some more seeds. These are beet sunflower, and then these are tree collards, and then I have these little micro clips over here. These are really important. These micro clips go on each seed packet. You can see it right there. Once you open up the seed packet, they clip onto the top and they prevent your seeds from falling out. Now over here I got a fan and another fan there, a low one and a high one. And as you can see, watch it come around. When the fan comes around, you can see it blowing. Well, that goes ahead and helps harden up and toughen up your plants. So what I have here, okay, I got a temperature. This is a digital temperature gauge, humidity and temperature. And over here, these are controls for my heating pads. And down on the floor, I got some elephant ears in there that need to come up. They just have to sit there for a while. I got some blue java banana plants going. Got some melons going. Down over here, I got some jars because I do hydroponics in jars. All of my jars got a window, so I could go ahead and see the water level, and then I could fill up when needed. I got some plants in here rooting right now. You can see the roots coming out. So up here, I got my hydroponics growing. Up right over here, I got some plants growing. Over here, I got some dragon fruit. They were all like this. I'm separating as I'm going. I got some lettuce going over here. And same thing over here. When I do it, you can see them coming up right now, right out of the wool. And I got clay pebbles around them when they sprout up a little bit more. Now over here, this is if I pull these two strings, and this will lower or raise the lights as needed. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lights on most of my shelves on that side. I still have to hang a couple more on this side. And then over here I got some supplies and some zip ties. And these here are just extensions. Then down here, I got some more switches. Well, these are for my lights. I didn't have to use all of them, but I have more if I need them. Now coming around this side, I got a little bit of storage. I got a shelf that I set things on. I got bins around because you're always going to have to put something in the bin, or you stack bins up, use it as a shelf. And then, of course, I got my cases where the seeds go in. And now let's go ahead and get to the shelving unit. Okay, behind this over here, I have a wall outlet. It goes to a timer. I love these timers. The outlets turn in case you're not using them all, and there's a cover on it. It's got the days and the hours for this whole side, and this whole side stays on. And I got another one over here. This whole side stays on, and this side is on the timer. Now, the reason why that's important, because you want your lights to go off at night, and you want your heaters to stay on during the day. So the lights go off, the heaters stay on. So that's really important. Now, the shelving unit is just a basic 4-foot chrome plated, I guess, shelving unit. It works out really good. So my shelving unit over here, they're basically 4-foot shelving units. I utilize this space in the middle, so I got 4, 8, almost 12 foot of shelving, and I put lights across the center over here. And if you look down, I got plants, banana plants. Now, I could go ahead and let them grow all the way up, which I'm not because I'm planting them outside. But I could also put fruit trees in here and have them grow up to 7 feet or 8 feet tall, which is The reason why I leave this opening on the inside is for my taller plants. Okay, so each heating pad, like right now, these are on heat, these are on heat, these are not on heat. Down below, that's on heat. Well, I got controllers over here that control the heat. Oh, come right up here. I take this probe right here and I stick it right in the top of the soil. I don't put the top down past, but that will tell me the temperature. Now I just went ahead and direct sowed these over here, so they're not coming up yet. And then over here I direct sowed these over here. Some of them are starting to come up, but these are on heating pads because they need it. This plant in here, I'm rooting, and it's starting to grow in the soil over here, to where over there, I just have it in water. I just want to see which one worked out better. Now I have my tomato plants over here. Now the tomato plants are in trays, and when I water, I go ahead and take your watering right here, and I just pour it in the trays like that, and I fill it up, and it wicks up. I don't water from the top. And same thing with this, and the same thing with that. And then these down here, and down there. And now if we come over here, same thing. I just went ahead and sowed the seeds to those. These are watermelons growing, and I just went ahead and did some sweet potatoes in there. They're going to take a little while to come up. Now the back end over here, a lot of people want to know what this is. Basically, there's a wall behind there, and there's a window there and window there. It keeps the heat out or the cold out, plus it's a great reflector. If you look, you can see that it's reflecting. The light comes down, the light comes over this way from the corners. I just feel that it helps, so I go ahead and put the foil on. And that's basically it. I think I pretty much covered it. All my plants that I put over heating pads, I keep them at right around 79, 80 degrees. I try to keep it 80 degrees. It helps them propagate quicker. And peppers may not even propagate if you do not have them on a heating pad. Now, the heating pads itself, if you look right here, I have a heating pad right there. Right there's the heating pad. You can see it down there. Now I have this plastic. The reason why I have the plastic is I could put water right on here to wick it up. And the heating pad's going to stay nice and dry and not get dirty or wet. You don't want to short out your heating pad. You don't want to get it all yicky and dirty. So this is just a garbage bag, and I cut it to the size of what I need. The size that I usually do it in are in bins like this, so I make sure it comes up and over the sides. And remember, it's only going to be, you're only going to use your heating pad for about 2 weeks, and then they come off. Oh, another thing over here is I keep this little ladder around so I could step on it, and then I could come up and see all my top plants. And then I could grab stuff down a lot easier. I could just step up, remove the bin, do what I got to do up here, and then step back down. So that's pretty important to have in here. So basically, I think I covered almost all of what I have in here. If you're interested in knowing the exact items that I have a link below to a PDF file. You could download it. You could have there's a photo and a description of everything that I have, and there's a clickable link. It'll take you right to Amazon or whatever store sells it that I purchased it from, and you could go ahead and purchase it, or you could get something similar. But everything that I have, I put on that list, and the reason why I do that, if I want to look up and purchase another one of what I have, I got the list. I just decided to post it. And I do the same thing with my seeds. If you want to know which vegetables and what varieties I'm growing, I have a link that's downloadable. And just about everything on there, I try to update it each growing season. So in about another 2 or 3 weeks, when I start planting in the garden, I'm going to complete that list, and you'll know what I'm planting this year. Right now, there's one on there. That was for last season. I try to make everything accessible so you can see what other people like myself are doing and how I'm starting my seeds and growing. Most of my seeds I get from Baker's Creek, some from Johnny's, but I favor Baker's Creek. I just like their website a little better. They give you a free packet of seed and free shipping. Their seeds are about 99.9 or 100% germination rate, so I love them. And then Home Depot and Lowe's, I go there sometimes just to get your standard variety. I tend to try to grow varieties that you cannot go local and buy. So I don't grow items that are in the grocery store, like your lettuce and stuff I do. I'm doing the Kraske on the inside of the house right now so I can have lettuce all year long, because what normally happens is you grow your lettuce, you eat in lettuce, and then all of a sudden your tomatoes are starting to ripen, but your lettuce is already bolted, and you never have both at the same time. So if you grow the hydroponics on the light shelf, which I'll have this going after I remove all the plants, you'll be able to eat lettuce all year round. And you start them at, different intervals. You start at week 1 over here, week 3 over here, week 6, and you'll always have some mature, and you start in new ones all year round. And remember, lettuce, you could, if you have a big family, you take the whole thing. And if you're a single person, you just go ahead and take off the amount you want, you put in the lettuce, and the lettuce is still going to grow. They're going to be less likely to bolt in the house than they would outside because of the heat. You can regulate the heat here, keep it at like 70, 77 degrees. It should be cooler in the 60s, but, I got to keep it room temperature. Okay, that pretty well covers it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got an understanding of why I set up this room like this. It's very manageable and workable, from working in the soil to sowing seeds to upsizing. A lot of these plants, see if I can find one here. Okay, like this one right over here, I got multiple plants in there. There's 3 plants in there. So I'm going to take it over there, and I'm going to separate them and put them in 3 separate pots. Most of them I already separated already. This one has 3 in it. This one has 5 in it. So when I'm working on my workstation, right over here, it's real easy for me just to dump it out, have my potting soil below, and go ahead and separate all those right there. And then I just go ahead and put them back on the shelving unit. So it's all shaped like an L. I got 12 feet going from edge to edge over here, which is all my growing. And then I probably have about, 8 feet over there where I go ahead and pot and repot and upsize. And then right over here on the table, I got the seeds, and I separate the seeds, and I put them in plastic baggies so I know. And then I put a little sticky note on the top that says potted, and I put those to the right. Now the seeds that I'm going to direct sow, there to the left. That way I don't miss anything, because basically I need to get out there and start to do that. And if something's hidden in one of those storage cases, I may not see it, I may overlook it, but if I have it all out right about this time of the year, then I could grab it, go out there and do it. And then when I'm done planting everything, then I take them and I put them back in my storage cabinet, close it on up, lay it on the floor, because the floor is always cooler than your whole house. Heat rises, and that's how I store my seeds. So with that said, download the PDF files. You can see everything that I have. If you already have stuff, now you kind of know the way things are in here. Let me show you the light over here. This light, let's see, right over here. It's really good. Basically, I have a clothespin over here, and I have a clothespin here. I just take them off, and you can see I can lower that light right there and raise it up. If you see, it goes up and it goes down. You can raise one end or you can raise the other end. You get it the way you want. So you can put it right over your plant. As the plant grows, you could go ahead and raise it up like that. Then you just put these clips right back on it, and then the light stays in place. I don't bother doing all of my shelf like that. I did this on a DIY to show people how to do it. What I normally do is I take bins like this. This is a growing bin right here. And then I just take this bin and I turn it upside down. And I set the bin on it till they get too tall. And once they start touching the top, I take this bin out and I set it down. I mean, that works fine. But for the people that really want it close, this is the way to go. I don't feel I need it. I feel half up and half down works perfect for me. You have to decide what works good for you. So, anyways, these are all my tomato plants. You can kind of see right now. Let me do this. Okay, so these are my tomato plants right over here. They're starting to touch the top. They're pretty well nice and stiff over here. I still got to put them outside and harden them up, but they're doing fine. And the way I know if I need to water them or not, I stick my finger down in the soil like that. If it's a little dry, I add more water. If it's damp, I'll just kind of leave it. And then I'll go ahead and fill up the bin till it's about a ½ inch of water, and that wicks on up. But I tend to let the tops of it dry, and when I stick my finger down in it, I just want to feel a little bit of moisture. And if anything, let it dry out and then redo it. Where people go wrong is they try to keep it wet constantly. You don't want that. Just water it, let it wick up, let all that water get drinked up by the plants, put your finger in it, and you can feel the soil, and then you do it again. The tomato plants, they'll toughen up better. Let them dry almost all the way out, just a little dampness, and then wet them again. You don't want to keep the roots of any of your plants constantly wet. Like a sponge. You wring out the sponge and it's damp. That's about how you want it. And I do that with most of my plants. Some of the plants will get a little bit of mold on top because there's not enough circulation in here. So what you want to go ahead and do, you get some hydrogen peroxide. Get yourself a spray bottle like this one right here, and you could do 30, 40, or 50, 50, or whatever percentage you want in there, and then come over to your plant like this and just give it a spray, and that will go ahead and kill the algae that's growing on there, or the mold. That will go ahead and kill the mold that's growing on there. And then what you want to do is you want to take a towel and you want to place the towel like this over so it's completely dark. Hydrogen peroxide comes in a brown bottle so the light doesn't go in there. So when you put it in a clear bottle and you spray it, put that clear bottle in a plant pot and go ahead and put a towel over it so it's dark in there, and then you could use it for a couple weeks. Otherwise, it's going to go bad right away. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. This was my growing setup. If you like it, all the supplies are listed below. I got storage on top. The lights go all the way across. I utilize the floor with heating pads, so I got a lot of things growing. Sometimes it's all filled up. But right now, my space on my shelves are just about all taken up. This is my planting area. I got supplies on the shelf. I got potting soil. I got pots. I got trays, got seeds. I got other supplies right over here. So that's the basics of everything that you need. I know, well, I'm single right now, so I could utilize this room. Maybe my wife would not let me use this room. But hey, if I met somebody that enjoyed gardening, like a lot of people do, shoot, they might even have more stuff in here, and I would be a happy camper. So with that said, talk to you soon.